This is Kamera. Points in the Bible, day number 89, 1 Samuel, chapter 13 and chapter 14. Some great points in the Bible. Number one is how we're impatient. We're waiting on God, and if He's taking too long, we'll just go ahead and do what we want to do, right? And it might not turn out well for us, right? And there's this thing where people want to do what they want to do with what God, when God have a way of doing certain things. For instance, offerings. People, there's a trend where people will say, I'm going to give my tithes and my offering to help someone or to help this organization instead of giving it to the church the way God wanted it to be done. And yeah, God is not pleased with that. Another thing is how when we have to understand this. Our battles, it may look like our enemy is big, but God is bigger, and God can accomplish with a small amount. You don't always need a lot for God to accomplish what He wants. And we need to take our eyes off of the enemy and keep our eyes on God. A lot of people will say, the devil this, the devil that, the devil got me today, the devil's all over me today. Why are you doing that? Because your God is bigger than that. Keep your eyes on God. Also, you know how we get these ideas and we want to do these ideas? If there's a great idea, I say go for it. Ask God for wisdom, ask God for knowledge, ask God for direction, because you're going to see a character who did just that. And he was like, God don't need a lot. Okay, just a few. And we've seen in scripture where God used a few to accomplish something that was mind blowing. And so there are a few things, guys, but let me go ahead and start with Saul. Saul was 30 years old when he became king. And Saul, he built this huge army. Uh, and they won battles with that army. And get this, Samuel was supposed to meet with Saul, because what happened was Philistines, they started to build their army, and their army was intimidating. There was so many, it was like sand on the beach. And the Israelite army started to become frightful, fearful of the Philistine army. But Samuel told Saul to wait for him. And so Saul, instead of keeping his eyes on God, on whose army he is over, that's God's army. The Israelite army is God's army. Those are God's people. He took his eyes off of God and put it on this situation where the people started leaving. The Israelites started leaving. And so he started to fret because they were getting less and less people in their army. But again, he took his eyes, guys, doesn't matter what goes on around you. Keep your eyes on God. God is bigger than any situation, any and all situations. So what Saul decided to do, instead of waiting on Samuel, he decided to do something that only priests can do, and he offered up burnt sacrifices unto God. And so when Samuel came, Samuel was like, "What did you do?" He said, "Well, you were taking too long, and my men." And so Samuel was like, "You shouldn't have done that, because if you would have waited, your kingdom would have been established. You missed out on the kingdom. Now God has appointed a new person for this kingship." You see what happened? He lost out because of that. God already found somebody else. And what about with that was an offering. People thought they can just get their offering to do what they want to do with the offerings. That's not cool, because those offerings are supposed to go to God. You give God what God's supposed to have, the tithe, the offering, and all that extra stuff. You want to give more to people, more to organizations. Yeah, go ahead and do that. But give God what belongs to God, to his churches first. You got to. That's the way he has it planned. All right, so get this. You have Jonathan. He and his armor bearer decide, oh, they got a plan. They're going to go and they're going to sneak up on the Philistines' army. And if it's God's will, he says, if it's God's will for me to fight, then these people will invite me to this fight. If it's not, then they'll tell me to go on about my business. And he was telling his armor bearer, he was like, listen, God don't need a lot of people to win a battle. This is what Jonathan was thing. And his armor bearer was like, I'm with you. I love the fact that if you have a partner with the same mind, there's nothing can stop you. And this is one thing I always notice, if you have a married couple with the same mind, that is a beautiful thing. And you're going to go far with that if you have a couple with the same mind. I'm just saying. We're stronger together. And so, get this, that armor bearer was right there. And Jonathan had the front, armor bearer had the back, and God blessed them where the Philistines started to get curious about what was going on. They sent these dead bodies all over the place, right? Then you had God to cause an earthquake. I'm just saying, God was in that thing with Jonathan and that armor bearer. Then Saul people, the army are looking around like, what's going on down there, right? So they see that the Philistines are fighting each other because of this earthquake. They're all confused. And so Saul, nothing, he asked for the ephod, right? Ephod taking too long. That's okay, we'll just go. See, that right there shows us that Saul is really trying to do this without God. Ephod represent God being in that midst with them. That's another thing, right? Guys, don't be too impatient with your life that you got to keep God out of it. We got to take the time to include God in every step in our life. Don't be that person. And so Saul makes this vow. If you eat anything before we win this battle, you're going to die. Jonathan didn't get that memo. Jonathan ate some honey. He felt good. Now they tell him what his dad had said. Jonathan like, no wonder. We could have killed more Philistines. There's a way you do stuff, guys. Giving offering is good, but there's a way you give it. Giving tithe is good. There's a way you do it. Fasting is awesome. That's good as well, but there's a way you do it. You don't do it when you're using your physical strength like that. They could have fasted before or after, what have you, but not during the battle. You need your strength. You need your strength. Now, these spiritual battles, I'm all for fasting when it comes to spiritual battles. But we're talking about physical, where we're going to use our physical body to do something. You don't do it while you're using your physical strength. There's a time to do that. And God had to show him that through the situation with his son, because he found out his son did that, ate. His son didn't know, first of all. He wanted to kill his son, but God was so good. They said, we're not going to kill him because God delivered us, help us defeat this battle through Jonathan. No, we're not going to let you kill Jonathan. And he didn't kill him. So but get this. Saul also saw that was folly he had, because he called off the other Israelites from chasing the Philistines. So leaders, listen. We have to ask God for direction and big good ideas. But we got to ask God for direction, ask Him for wisdom. There's a way to do things, guys. The fasting is good. The offering is good. But God has a way that He wants those things done. And those ideas, a lot of times they are great ideas. If we include God in those ideas, watch Him work. But guys, if you guys have any points that you like to add, please place them in the comments area. There you have it, guys. That's points in the Bible. That's day number 89. 1 Samuel chapter 13 and chapter 14. You have a God-filled blessed day.